Hey guys, I'm Rob. This is about EVs, and this is my 2017 Chevy Bolt EV. We're going to do a 3-year in-depth long-term review. Stay tuned, it's coming right up. On what was probably a nice day in May 2017, Callie was born. Now look at her birth certificate. It shows that she was born black on black in the base Premier trim. She's an old gal now, just about to turn 30. A quick look at her medical history. It was basically 3 tire rotations, 2 of which I got free from Chevrolet, so we're talking $20 total in maintenance costs. That's pretty awesome. Alright, what's not to like about this car, right? It's a great car. But listen, there's a few things that we gotta talk about. We'll go over them, then we'll do the likes, and on a high note, let's go. Okay, my first gripe, this little cute little pocket here. It's so cute, isn't it? But it's so useless! It doesn't do anything. There's no practical use for it. You can't fit glasses in it. You can't fit a map. How about a garage door opener? No, it doesn't really fit that either. I mean, it's totally useless.
Look, Dave, I can see you're really upset about this.
And this thing, like, what is this thing? What do you put here? Is that for luggage? Or, I mean, what is it for? A handbag? I don't know what you're supposed to do there. I mean, they really could have done something better with this space here. It's just insane. Okay, so where do we put our phone? The cord's here. There's a cavern here where you can let it just dangle around and bounce around. There's no real holder. I guess maybe you could stretch it up to the cup holder's not a good spot for it either. So I guess we're gonna have to put it down here. I mean, come on, GM, help us a little.
I honestly think you ought to sit down calmly. Take a stress pill and think things over.
Okay. I'm good, guys. I'm good. Really. Deep breaths. So, the shifting knob is a bit of a sticking point for some people. Some people do not like the fact that you have to push the button in to get it into reverse. Alright, if you came from a standard shift, this is like second nature. All standard sticks, or most of them, do have some kind of thing where you have to do something to get it into reverse. I don't see what the problem is for GM to do this. It's really fine. Not a problem for me. Some people don't like it. Just had to point that out. Alright, over-the-air updates in the 2017. Well, I can tell you that I have not ever seen one come up on the screen. Like, it would be nice if it actually showed that you have an update. Press here to install it. Nope, never saw that. I think all of them have been done at the dealer. I've never actually physically done one or got a notification, but we can check to see where we are on updates. We're gonna go to settings. We're gonna scroll all the way down to the bottom, down to software information and software update. Checking for updates, and I am connected to my home Wi-Fi, so it has no reason not to see anything. And we have the latest software, version 14.5, which I believe actually is the latest software, but that was not installed by me. That was installed by the dealer when I had the car in for service one time. So over-the-air updates, at least in the 2017 model, don't hold your breath. You're not going to get them. I don't think you're ever going to get them in this model. Maybe a little better luck in the later versions of the Bolt. I'm not sure. I know GM's promising them someday in the future, but right now they're pretty non-existent, even though the car is fully capable of doing them. So not a Tesla experience by any means here. Okay, another dislike, and it's not one of my personal dislikes, but a lot of people do complain about the seats in this car not being the most comfortable. They really don't have a lot of padding. Actually, right here you can feel the structure underneath. I mean, the padding doesn't go far. It's maybe about this much padding between the outer material of the seat and the hard frame underneath. A little bit better down here, but it doesn't have a lot. It kind of reminds me of, you know, a go-kart seat. If you guys ever have any experience go-kart racing, I mean, I think they were going for lightweight on this thing, and they didn't really put a lot of thought into the comfort of the seat. I don't have a problem with it. You know, I only weigh 150 pounds, so it's not a problem for me. I think if you were a bigger person or a heavier person, and even for me, probably on a long trip, which I have never taken probably have never gone more than 4 hours at a time in this car, but I could see if you traveled all day and you did an 8-12 hour trip in this car, the seats probably would start to become uncomfortable and you'd want to get out and stretch. Yeah, they're not the most comfortable seats. I don't hate them, but people have complained about them, and I've heard that in 2021 they may address that, but as of yet they still make the cars exactly the same as they did in 2017. All right, we're going to look outside at the front of the vehicle, and if you look under the hood here, yeah, there's no storage under here. There's a Hall motor. So when GM designed this car, they didn't really think about putting in a frunk or anything like that. Very conventionally designed car, not really built like an electric car could be, more or less built like a conventional engine car. So when you go under here, it's all engine. There's no storage at all. So that's kind of a minus. They could have probably, you know, made this so that the engine was more of accessible from underneath and serviced that way, and made some room for some storage here. So speaking of the garage opener, and you can see I have my opener that goes to my garage door itself. There's no home link in the Chevy Bolt EV. Both of my Chevy Volts that I owned before this, both had the home link installed. You know, it was up here somewhere. Not in the Bolt EV. They decided to drop that out as a feature. It's kind of disappointing. You know, that's another dislike that I have, that was not included. You know, at this price point, you're talking, you know, this is a $40,000 car. They kind of went cheap by not including that, and it's a little disappointing that it's not there. All right, so another thing that really drives me nuts on this car is the auto seat heaters. I mean, the auto seat heaters, really, they work fine. The thing that bothers me is when it's in auto, as it is in now, it does not tell you what power it's on, even though they went through the trouble of putting in these dots. Those dots will never light up and tell you what power that the seat automatically is currently in. The only way to find out is to actually take it off auto by pressing on it once. And you can see here that it was on 1 and I toggled it down to 0, but that's the only way. Now I have to, and if I wanted it at 1, I have to press it, cycle around back to where it was. That drives me absolutely nuts that I can't see what it is if it's on auto. It's kind of a small thing, but when you drive the car for 3 years, it will drive you absolutely bonkers that it's on auto, but you have no idea what it's on. You're gonna have to guess what it's on. We're not gonna tell you. I have no idea why they designed it that way. Absolutely insane. Very much a dislike on that one. Okay, who carpeted over the dead pedal? That was not a good design decision. It's going to be the first thing that wears out. I mean, the weatherproof mats that I have in there are not even going over that area. So this is going to be a long-term problem, and it's horrible. Okay, just real quick on the charging infrastructure. You know, it's early 2020. The charging infrastructure, the fast charging infrastructure, is not really established very well yet. It's going to be difficult to drive the car outside of its range on a long trip. Trying to find these fast chargers is very hit or miss, very difficult. You have a couple of different companies out there that are supplying it, so I would say wait another, 2-3 years before it's very reliable network like the Tesla infrastructure is. Not really ready for prime time yet. Kind of an adventure, so a little bit of a fail there. You know, as good as this car looks, and I really think GM did a really great job with this car, a lot of people aren't crazy about the styling. A lot of people think it's more, because they made it a crossover, it's more of a soccer mom's car. It's not really appealing to the masses, and I can understand that. I see that. I like the car. I think GM really made it to compete with the Nissan Leaf, and they totally crushed it. I mean, it is a huge worthy competitor to the Leaf, but on a mass market appeal, I think maybe if they went with more of a sexy, sporty look instead of a crossover, they maybe would have had more appeal. I love the car. I think it looks great. It's a fantastic looking car, and I really applaud the engineers at GM for really doing a great job with the Bolt EV. I think it looks great. Although, that said, it's not for everybody. All right, so I was kind of reaching for a lot of those dislikes. I mean, it's a great car, and I really don't have a lot to complain about. So keep that in mind as a little disclaimer. We're going to move on to the likes now. I think you'll be much happier. I couldn't list all the likes of this car because it would just go on for about 3 hours. So I'm just going to kind of hit on the things that I really like about the car, and we'll take it from there. All right, first and foremost, let's talk about the range. 238 miles EPA rated. That was a game changer back in 2017. Its nearest competition was the Nissan Leaf, which it totally crushes. And you can see by the pictures that I've taken over the years, easily beating 300 miles estimated range on the meter. The car's range is incredible. The battery really hasn't degraded much over these last 3 years, and it's been really, really reliable, especially in the summer. You see 361 miles there. Fantastic. Can't say enough about the range. Okay, storage in the 2017 Bolt EV, there's a ton of it. It's a big plus, 16.9 cubic feet. Those 60/40 rears do fold down to give you plenty of flat space to put a ton of stuff. The rear hatch has a hidden storage compartment underneath the floorboard there, and even under that there's actually room for a charging cable and some more stuff. So plenty of room to put a lot of stuff in this car. Okay, so suppose you do have your car loaded up with all your junk. How are you going to see out the back? Well, the Bolt EV has that figured out as well. You can look through the magic mirror cam. When you put that, flip that little dimmer switch, it goes from a regular mirror to a actual camera that actually views out of a little camera that's just below the tail light. Fantastic, great thinking, invention. To have that. I've never seen any other car with it, and I get a lot of compliments and likes. The car wash guys think it's absolutely amazing. They gawk at it all the time. it's a huge plus. I keep it on. I drive with it all the time. I love it. Okay, I know this is kind of a little one, and a lot of cars have this, but I just love the auto passive door lock. So when you walk away from the car, the door just locks. You don't have to think about it. You shut the door, you walk away, it just locks. Now how you turn this on is you go into settings, and then you go into vehicle. You're going to hit remote start, unlock start, and you're going to get this little animation, and the setting is passive door lock, on with horn chirp. So you can have it off, you can have it on, you can have it on with the chirp. I always like to have the chirp so that I know that it actually works. And yes, the car is smart enough that if you do leave your key fob inside the car, it will not lock the door and lock you out with your keys locked in the car. Fantastic feature, love it. It's one of my favorites on this car. Okay, another great feature about this car is the bird's eye view when you put the car into reverse. To be able to see all around your car like this, I can't tell you how valuable that is, and that is such a killer feature. So on the left side, you're seeing as if you had a drone above your car, and on the right side, you're seeing directly what's behind you. I mean, this is fantastic, and this is such a valuable. I have to mention though, this only is available in the Premier. So if you didn't get the Premier, you're missing out on this. But this is a fantastic feature. I couldn't live without it. It's one of the features that if I do go to another car that doesn't have it, I will absolutely miss it. It's huge. Okay, another great feature about this car is the display, and it's a pretty good sized display. I think it's 10.2 inches. It's huge, it's bright, it looks great. The fact that Apple CarPlay is also featured in here, or Android Auto if you have an Android, huge functionality boost. The fact that you have this available to you and all these apps at the touch of your finger. You have Siri, you have Google Maps, you have Waze if you like it, you can use the Apple Maps, you can navigate somewhere just by talking to Siri. Sirius XM radio app if you have that. The car actually also comes with a Sirius XM antenna. If you wanted to buy that, you do get it free for the first 3 months. But the display is very well thought out. It's not super responsive, would be my only downfall about the display. I think it's probably running on Android or something like that, but it's really well thought out, and the display in front of you through the steering wheel is excellent. It's easy to maneuver with the the arrow buttons on the steering wheel. Super well thought out, very intelligently designed. I can't say enough about the display and the integration of Apple CarPlay. They really took a lot of time thinking through the display and all the functionality that you get. Really not too many complaints about it. It's a very positive, beautiful thing that's in the car that gives you a lot of functionality. A big positive for the Chevy Bolt. I love the My Chevrolet app and its ability to access all your car's data, along with being able to remote start it, unlock it, so forth. But one of the best features that nobody kind of knows about is it does have Alexa integration as well. Alexa, ask Chevrolet to start my car.
Okay, start your vehicle. What's your PIN? Got it. Starting your Chevrolet Volt EV.
Ah, the heated leather steering wheel. Only available in the Premier, but I tell you what, it's a lifesaver if you live in cold climates. Allows you to drive without your gloves on, and that's helpful because you're trying to operate that center console a lot, and with the gloves on, it's really difficult. Huge plus, love it, couldn't live without it. Okay, other big deal here is that when you drive the car in low, it actually does kind of give you the extra regen boost. But not only that, if you pull on the regen paddle back here behind the left steering wheel, it is like a parachute coming out of the back. And you know, when you're in low already, you can achieve one pedal driving, but with this regen pedal here, you can almost emergency stop if you have to. And I can tell you that about 98% of the time that I drive this vehicle, I don't touch the brake pedal. It's never used. It's so little used that I can't imagine ever going through a set of brakes in this car. I don't care how long I owned it for. It could be 25 years. I can't imagine going through a set of brakes because of the regen pedal and the aggressive regen that you get with the car just by driving it in low. It's fantastic, and it's huge. So forget about ever needing brakes because in this car you won't ever have to replace them. Okay, Big Mother and parental controls. You want to keep an eye on your Bolt EV and you want to keep an eye on the kids that are driving it. Well, you got a few options here with the Bolt EV. The first one is the Smart Driver, which you can enroll in. You have a teen key fob that you can program. And then you got Onstar, which kind of ties everything together. So let's get into the Smart Driver. That's kind of a part of the app that kind of keeps tabs on different things like hard braking, hard acceleration, late night driving, distance driven, average speed, and speeds over 80 miles an hour. Now, if you have a teen and you want to assign them one of the key fobs, that will keep tabs on being able to do stuff like warn them when they're going over 80 miles an hour, and it'll limit them to 85 miles an hour. It also limit the audio volume, and it will tell them to put their seatbelt on or it's not going to play the radio. So it's kind of cool stuff there. Then you got OnStar, which is kind of your personal concierge. You can click on the button to talk to somebody, get directions, find a restaurant. It's got collision warning available where you can have them call you or call 911 services in case of an emergency. It gives you this email which gives you great stats on your car every month. It's really fantastic. You can dig into the website and even get more data on your car, what it's doing, how much kilowatts you've used in a certain time frame. And how about this? The Bolt comes with its own magazine. Well, it's not dedicated to the Bolt, but it usually does feature it. This one has one on the cover. Comes every quarter. Just another fantastic bonus about being an owner of a Chevy Bolt EV. Gotta love that. Alright guys, well that about wraps up this video. I want to thank you for watching. I hit on all the things I like. I mean, it's an EV, so there's 1,000 things to like. It could go on for hours. Hopefully it gives you enough information to decide whether or not this car is right for you. I have to decide that. My lease is ending, so I got to figure out if I'm going to keep this car, or I'm going to trade it in for another Bolt, or I'm going to just give it back and get something completely different. So stay tuned for that. Next video, we're going to go over that in detail. I'm going to give you the numbers, everything you want to know, whether the car is worth keeping or not. And like, subscribe, comment down below if you really like this video. I read the comments, I'll respond to them. And I really appreciate everybody watching. Thanks for staying tuned to the channel. And if you made it this far, I owe you a drink. Take care.